The shocking truth behind Cracker Barrel's dark decline. Why you're not eating here at 3 a.m. There was a time when Cracker Barrel was the beacon of comfort food, a place where families gathered for steaming plates of biscuits and gravy. But shadows now linger in the corners of these once cheerful restaurants, and whispers of a dark truth swirl around their neon-lit signs. Why would anyone find themselves hesitating to dine there at 3 a.m.? What eerie changes have taken place behind those wooden walls? As night falls, the comforting glow of Cracker Barrel's signature lanterns turns sinister against the backdrop of a quiet, deserted parking lot. A flicker of movement catches the corner of an eye, a figure slipping through the door only for the familiar jingle of the bell overhead to fall silent. It's not just any figure, the locals say it's the so-called night chef, known for cooking up more than just hash browns after dark. Stories claim he always wears a tattered apron and that he stirs something strange into his secret recipes. Whispers say diners have reported crushing headaches and vivid nightmares after leaving the restaurant late at night. And then there's the secret ingredient that has driven regulars into hiding. How many have experienced unexplained sensations upon tasting the pancakes, an odd tingling that spread down to their fingertips, like an electric charge? It's said this ingredient wasn't just a mix of sweet syrup but something harvested from well, let us not go there just yet. You could almost hear the collective gasp as this story unfolds, leaving everyone questioning the layers of mystery wrapping around each bite. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. But just when things couldn't get more bizarre, it's the ghost stories that send a chill deeper than the winter wind. Cracker Barrel employees claim they've seen shadows flitting through the aisles during the graveyard shift, figures that don't belong to any living soul. No one escapes the icy grasp of the unexplainable here. Some swear they heard old folk songs echo from empty booths, while others found their plates mysteriously rearranged as if welcoming back long-gone diners. Just as the comforting aroma of coffee wafts through the air, a shout pierces the night. What's happening here? Could it simply be fear that grips the hearts of those who dared to pull open the heavy door after dark? Or does darkness hide an unsettling truth, one that begs to be uncovered? The clock strikes 3 and still no one dares to answer the question burning in everyone's mind: who really runs Cracker Barrel after dark? Only time will tell what perilous secrets lie hidden beneath the surface. The soft hum of the refrigerator drones on, the only sound piercing the suffocating silence that blankets the Cracker Barrel kitchen. Shadows stretch long against the wooden walls, flickering in time with the dim lights overhead. As the clock edges closer to 3:30 a.m., the atmosphere thickens with unspoken dread. It's a witching hour of sorts, when the mundane twists into something ominous. From the back of the kitchen emerges the night chef, a silhouette wrapped in a heavy cloak of mystery. His tattered apron flaps like the wings of a raven as he methodically prepares the morning's first batch of pancakes. Yet, there's something unsettling about the way he stirs the batter, a mix of something shiny and dark, glimmering ominously under the faint light. What is he hiding beneath that worn-out cap? Could it be the secret ingredient that has haunted the dreams of midnight patrons? Just then, a loud crash breaks the trance. A stack of dishes topples to the ground, leaving shattered porcelain strewn about like broken promises. It startles the chef, who whirls around, his eyes flashing with a mixture of irritation and paranoia. What was that? A voice trembles from the darkness, barely above a whisper. It's Sarah, a part-time server back for her late shift, drawn in by an unshakable curiosity. She had heard the rumors but never seen the dread firsthand. As she steps closer to the chef, the air seems to grow heavy, burdensome with unspoken fears. Is it true? She asks, her heart pounding wildly against her chest. What are you cooking? What are you really cooking? His grip tightens on the mixing bowl, and for a split second, an unworldly smile curls upon his lips. The light catches the edge of something sharp glinting in the shadows, an object hidden within the folds of his apron. "You wouldn't believe what makes the pancakes truly unforgettable," he replies, his voice a soft caress that sends chills racing down her spine, but Sarah pushes forward, against her better judgment. The tales whispered among co-workers surge back, fueling her determination. The nightmares, the headaches, the long stares of patrons who came too close to the truth, all of it hanging thick in the air. "You can't keep this secret forever," she declares, her voice rising defiantly. "Can't I?" he replies, laughter bubbling like hot syrup. "Would you like a taste?" He motions toward the sizzling griddle, panic flickering in her gaze as an unseen force pulls her closer. The intoxicating scent of pancakes mingles with something more sinister, a sweetness underlined by the metallic tang of uncertainty. Suddenly, the lights flicker heavily, casting deep shadows that seem to dance along the walls. Panic erupts as the room fills with an overwhelming aroma, an invitation wrapped in layers of temptation. Diners long gone seem to circle around her, specters whom she could almost see etched into the wood panels. This place is cursed, her mind screams, yet another part pulls her deeper into the dark mystery the chef embodies. "Sarah," a voice echoes from behind her, a warning tone laced with concern. It's Tony, the head cook, emerging from the storage room with a look of distress. "You need to leave now." His voice cuts through the haze, but the night chef is already moving, blocking her path, a glimmering object raised above his head, and just as she steels herself to confront him, the lights flicker again, and in the looming darkness, something malevolent stirs, hungry for another soul. What will Sarah discover about the true nature of Cracker Barrel's night shift? And is the secret within those pancakes worth the risk? Can anyone escape the grasp of the shadows? The room pulses with tension as shadows stretch like claws across the kitchen floor. Sarah's breath quickens, her heart racing as the night chef inches closer, the glimmering object still raised like a harbinger of doom. Darkness envelopes her, the warmth of the griddle suddenly feeling like an unspeakable threat. "Tony!" she shouts, eyes darting toward the head cook, searching for rescue. His face is a mask of fear, a stark contrast to the bravado he normally wears in the daylight. "Get out of here, Sarah!" he yells, pushing against the silence, urgency lacing each word. But the night chef makes his move, a shift that fills the air with a palpable chill. He snaps his gaze back on her, eyes narrowing, unsettlingly bright in the dark. "What's wrong, Sarah? Don't you want to know the secret?" A shudder runs down her spine. The question hangs in the air like an unspoken dare. Just then, the lights flicker again, illuminating the chaotic scene for a split second. If she could just grab Tony's arm, they could make a run for it. But her feet feel glued to the spot, as if the very floor is conspiring to keep her from escaping this nightmare. The chef's smile widens, revealing teeth too white against the dark of his face. "Everyone who has tasted my pancakes has experienced something otherworldly," he croons, weaving through the dim light like smoke. "Those who want it can have it. Those who resist, well, they often leave quite hungry." His voice snakes through the silence, oily and slick, the very sound invading her thoughts. "What do you mean?" Sarah hears the quiver in her own voice. "What is in that batter?" The moment stretches, suffocating as the shadows seem to pulse with anticipation. "A dash of seduction, a sprinkle of despair," he says, taking a step forward. With each word, he presses closer, the blade in his hand glinting like a malevolent star. "But you should know, Sarah, sometimes, ingredients come from places you'd never imagine." Her stomach churns, dread tightening like a noose around her throat. She glances at Tony, who's visibly shaken but resolute. "Run, now!" he urges through gritted teeth, but fear paralyzes her. What if she left? What would happen next? What could this chef really be capable of? Without warning, the kitchen door bursts open and the cool night air rushes in, a gust of clarity amongst the chaos. What's happening? A figure appears in the doorway, backlit like a guardian angel. It's Karen, an off-duty waitress, her silhouette cutting sharply against the darkness, a beam of hope. "Get out, Karen!" Tony calls, desperation laced in his voice. "You all need to," she starts, but the night chef lashes out, wielding his kitchen knife with a flick of his wrist. "Stay right where you are," he growls, the atmosphere thickening with danger. Sarah can't take it anymore. With one swift movement, she lunges to the side, trying to break past the night chef, oblivious to the chaos around her. The knife whizzes past, just missing her arm as she rushes toward Tony and Karen. The lights flicker one last time before plunging them back into darkness. The metallic scent of blood mingles with the sweet aroma of pancakes, not quite right, a dissonance that reverberates in her very core. "What is happening?" somebody screams. A voice blends into the cacophony, a chorus of confusion, terror, and anguish. But with adrenaline pumping through her veins, Sarah's instincts kick in. "Let us get out. Now!" she shouts, grasping Tony's hand, pulling him toward the door. But as the three of them stumble back, the night chef blocks their path, eyes glinting menacingly. "Leave? You think you can just leave?" he hisses, and his voice curls into Sarah's mind like smoke. No one escapes that easily. As they face the escalating horror lurking around them, Sarah realizes she might not just be fighting for her life, but for something much deeper than mere existence. The true secret of Cracker Barrel's night shift is looming closer, and with it, a truth that could shatter everything they thought they knew. What dark revelation lies beyond the kitchen door? Can they break free from the grip of the night chef, or will they succumb to the secrets hidden in the midnight batter? Panic grips Sarah as the night chef towers over them, shadows flickering ominously. Every instinct screams at her to move, but her body remains rooted in dread. Tony and Karen stand beside her, heartbeats echoing in the dimness. The night chef's voice drips with malice, teasing, "Do you feel it? The power of my secret recipe? This isn't just about food." He takes a step closer, and a sickening sweetness fills the air, blurring the line between hunger and dread. Suddenly, the tension snaps like a brittle thread. Sarah shouts, "We have to push through." She tugs at Tony's arm, their connection grounding her amid the impending chaos. But Tony hesitates, a flash of uncertainty in his eyes. What if he's right? What if we don't even know what we're up against? "Don't think. Just move," Karen interjects urgently. The night is crashing against them, the havoc around them suffocating. Then, with raw courage, she meets the night chef's stare, defiant. "I want to let you control us." The night chef merely chuckles, a sound so chilling it pierces through their resolve, raising the knife again. "You think mere words can protect you? Taste the truth, learn what it means to crave." In that heartbeat, he lunges, stabbing towards Karen. Time slows as the glint of steel slices through the air, but Sarah reacts faster. She sidesteps and shoves Karen toward the exit, her body acting on instinct. "Go!" The blade scrapes by, nicking the edge of Sarah's shirt. A rush of cold fear sears through her as she pushes Karen ahead, the door only a step away now. Behind them, Tony's voice rises above the chaos, a battle cry to drown out the impending doom. "Run!" he yells. Each second stretches, their hearts pounding to the rhythm of desperation. They bolt, racing past the night chef, adrenaline flooding through them. The cool night air slams into their lungs as they burst into the parking lot, but fear doesn't take a break. "Where's the car?" Sarah gasps, scanning the dimly lit expanse, panic gnawing at her resolve. Tony points erratically toward the far end. "Over there." Together they sprint, harder than they ever thought possible, their breaths ragged, the shadows behind them thickening like a predator ready to strike. With each step, muffled shouts from the kitchen fade into a twisted symphony of madness, a reminder that the night chef is still after them. As they reach the car, Karen fumbles with the keys, her shaky fingers betraying her. "Open up already," Sarah urges, glancing back, dread tightening its grip. The night chef has emerged from the kitchen like a phantom, and his movements are unsettlingly calm. "Running 1T save you." His voice carries over the distance, rich with sinister glee. "You'll find the secret follows you wherever you go. You can't escape your cravings." The car door swings open, and they pile inside, Karen's hands trembling as she twists the ignition. The engine sputters, a cruel mockery of their panic. "Start. Please start." With a final desperate prayer, the engine roars to life. They peel out of the parking lot and speed into the night, adrenaline coursing through them like fire. But dark shadows loom behind them, the night chef's chilling laughter echoing in their minds. "Did you really think you could leave?" The words flutter through the air, serrated whispers that dig deep. What was he talking about? Tony's voice is filled with dread. What craving? Sarah's heart sinks, the weight of the secret beginning to crush her. Were they still in danger? Would it ever end, or was this only the beginning? The truth felt more warped than simply escaping culinary horror. As they drive into the thickening night, uncertainty pits her stomach. What secret? She whispers, the question lingering heavily in the air. No answers emerge, only the haunting shadows of the night chef pooling into their minds like ink in water. Did they unravel one part of the truth only to step into another? As fear settles like a fog in the air, they can't shake the feeling that the worst was yet to come. Just what was hidden inside the night chef's midnight batter. The car sped down the empty road, but the tension didn't release. Sarah gripped the seatbelt tight, her knuckles white. "We need to figure this out." "He said something about cravings," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Tony peered at her, his eyes wide with dread. "What does that even mean? Do you think he was talking about?" He trailed off, fear thick in the air. "About us?" Karen interjected, her voice trembling. "What if he was right? What if we've been craving something we don't even understand?" The shadows fluttered behind them, their haunting presence echoing along the winding highway. It felt like a bad movie, the kind where the characters don't just run from danger but crash right into it. The chilling laughter of the night chef still reverberated in Sarah's mind. "Stop it!" she snapped, voice rising with panic. "We can't think about what he said. We have to stay focused. What we just experienced, it's not over." The road narrowed, lined with trees that loomed menacingly overhead. Each branch seemed to reach out, crooked fingers clawing at the sky. Lights in the distance flickered like warning beacons. Sarah's right. This isn't just about running away. "We need to figure out what he wants," Tony asserted, his voice steadier now, driven by a newfound resolve. Karen nodded slowly, regaining some composure. "We can't go back to the restaurant, that would be suicide. But what if he is targeting other people? What if we're not the first?" A chill crawled down Sarah's spine. She remembered glimpses of a crowded dining room, laughing patrons swapping stories over meals. Were they all unaware of the terror lurking behind the scenes? Her thoughts spiraled. "We need to find out where he gets his ingredients. Maybe there are clues." Tony raised an eyebrow. "You think there are records or something?" "We don't have a choice." Sarah insisted, determination bubbling within her. "There has to be a supply chain. Something connected to him." "No way," Karen murmured, distress creeping back. "What if we dig too deep? It could get us killed." "What's worse?" Sarah shot back, fear igniting into anger. "Living in the shadow of this guy, wondering if we'll be next. Or confronting whatever darkness is out there." Suddenly, a flicker of headlights illuminated the road behind them. Sarah's heart dropped. The night chef's form appeared briefly in the glow of the rearview mirror, his wicked smile just visible. "Faster!" she yelled, adrenaline pushing them beyond survival instincts. The engine growled as Karen pressed the accelerator, the gap between them and the headlights narrowing. Just then, a thick fog rolled in, swallowing the road ahead. The low visibility choked their escape. Every way forward felt promising and deadly. Where do we go now? Karen's voice cracked with worry. Then, amid the haze, a sign appeared. A lone diner ahead, twisted neon lights pulsed in a hypnotic glow. It felt like a trap, but the pull was undeniable. We need to stop, Sarah shouted, pointing ahead. It could be a way to break the curse he's put on us. Or we walk right into his lair, Tony replied, skepticism flashing in his gaze. Would you rather face him head-on or let him hunt us down? Sarah pressed, her heart racing faster as the headlights loomed even closer, the night chef lurking in the darkness behind them. With a thundering growl, Karen swerved into the diner parking lot, the tires screeching against the asphalt. They threw themselves out of the car and into the neon-lit abyss, breathless and shaken. Whatever we find in there, we take it together, Sarah vowed, locking eyes with her friends. They stepped cautiously towards the entrance, the oppressive fog swirling around them, as an unsettling feeling settled over the diner. What if, Tony hesitated, glancing over his shoulder, what if we should have kept running? But deep down, they all knew there was no running anymore. The night chef had left his mark, and now they were on the cusp of the truth. As they pushed through the diner doors, the smell of spices twisted with more than food filled the air, a sinister, intoxicating aroma that felt like a warning. And just then, the bell above the door rang, echoing through the stillness, a siren announcing their arrival to whatever horror awaited them inside. What dark secrets rested on those faded booths, and could they face the nightmares lying ahead? The diner was a relic, a time capsule of Americana. Red and white checkered tablecloths lay beneath the flickering fluorescent lights, and the walls were adorned with dusty memorabilia that whispered stories untold. There was a silence, too deep for a place that should have hosted the sounds of clinking dishes and lively conversations. Let us split up, Sarah suggested, her voice barely concealing the tremor of fear. We can cover more ground. Are you crazy? Tony shot back, his eyes darting around the dark corners. We stay together. We're safer that way. Staying together might not be enough if he's here, Karen murmured, glancing at the front door, their only visible escape route. Maybe if we see what this place is hiding, we'll find out how to hit back. Their eyes met, an unspoken agreement forming between them. The urgency to act outweighed their instincts to be cautious. Sarah led the way, her heart pounding against her chest like a drumbeat for danger. As they moved deeper into the diner, the air thickened, each breath tasting tinged with grease and something more sinister. The aroma twisted its way into her mind, teasing her taste buds but flooding her with dread. The kitchen stood ominously at the back, a door swinging ajar and revealing the chaotic heart of the diner. Shadows danced within, merging with the shadows cast by the flickering lights. Does it feel wrong in here? Tony whispered, stepping cautiously beside Karen as they approached the kitchen entrance. She nodded, her eyes wide. Maybe we should just go, Karen said, anxiety tinging her voice. What if we disturb something? Or uncover something, Sarah countered, a spark of defiance igniting her resolve. Let us check it out. She pushed the door wider, revealing a landscape of chaos, a chef's station littered with knives and pans, remnants of food splattered everywhere. An industrial refrigerator hum stirred unnervingly in the background. Then they heard it, a low growl. Sarah froze. It wasn't the sound of machinery or a shifted piece of equipment, it was something alive, something hungry. Did you hear that? Karen's voice trembled, barely above a whisper. Yeah, Tony breathed, stepping back instinctively. What is going on here? They were trapped in a situation that didn't just feel dangerous, it felt primal, as if they were prey in a game much larger than they understood. Look! Sarah pointed to a fridge slightly ajar. A flickering light illuminated the inside where assorted meats were piled, but they weren't just the standard cuts. Some were unnaturally colored. Others had an unsettling glint, almost as if they were gleaming in anticipation. "Get away from there!" Tony yelled, pulling Sarah back just as a shriek erupted from the diner floor. A creaking sound resonated as if the entire building were alive and ready to consume them. Lights flickered violently, plunging the diner into brief darkness. Panic surged through their bodies like static electricity. When the lights returned, everything seemed unchanged, except there stood a figure at the counter. A silhouette against the glow of the neon sign, an unmistakable outline. The night chef. The air crackled with electricity as they met his gaze, his eyes gleaming with a twisted hunger. "You've come for the truth," he purred, voice sleek and menacing. "And you shall have it." Sarah felt heat pooling in her chest. "We want to know what you're doing here. What are you serving?" "Something extraordinary," he replied, a wicked smile stretching across his lips. "You'll find the answer, if you dare stay." Karen's heart raced as she exchanged glances with Tony, fear flooding her senses. "We shouldn't have come here." "Run!" Sarah yelled, but it was too late. The diner doors slammed shut, sealing their escape. Desperation clawed at their throats as they lingered in the face of his malevolent words. The truth awaited them, but at what cost? What horrors lay hidden in the shadows, and would they uncover the dark reality before the night chef decided they were on the menu? The walls seemed to close in around them, and Sarah felt the oppressive weight of dread pooling in her stomach. The night chef's smile twisted, a grotesque mockery of invitation. As the door sealed them in, the dim kitchen felt charged, alive with intentions that danced in the flickering light. They had crossed an invisible line into something far more terrifying than they had prepared for. "Now, let us see just how brave you truly are," he said, his voice smooth as silk but laced with ice. Each syllable scraped along Sarah's nerves, sending shivers down her spine. Karen took a breath, the air thick and suffocating. "What do you want from us?" she shouted, trying to sound brave. "Only your participation," he replied, turning away and gesturing toward the chaotic scene of the kitchen. "This diner is no ordinary place. It thrives on energy, fear, and your willingness to discover the truth." He paused, twisting his knife, a reflection of the kitchen's fluorescent lights flashing dangerously against the blade. "You can join the feast or become part of the menu." Tony swallowed hard, his throat dry. The unspeakable horror of the meats in the refrigerator flickered in his mind. "We're not afraid of you," he blurted, though his voice trembled. "Oh, but you are." The night chef pivoted, stepping closer with a predatory grace. "Fear is a delicacy here. It makes the flavors richer, the experience unforgettable." He moved towards the fridge, wrenching it open with a metallic clang that echoed through the kitchen. Inside lay not just the strange cuts but other, more disturbing items, a grotesque display of unnatural hybrid meats combined in ways that defied reality. Sarah's stomach turned. "What have you done?" Sarah's voice cracked as she staggered back, the horror of the scene stinging her eyes. "This isn't food, it's a nightmare." "Ah, but it can be your reality." The chef leaned over, his face illuminated by the yellow glow of the fridge. "Haven't you heard? Everything has a price and every chef needs a secret ingredient." He flashed a toothy grin, revealing canines that seemed far too sharp, and Sarah knew they weren't just talking about recipes anymore. They were standing on the precipice of something unexplainable, something that dripped with danger and whispering shadows. Suddenly, the lights flickered off and then on again, but this time they didn't return to the same dull ambience. A sudden, bright flash illuminated the kitchen, showing horrific silhouettes dangling from hooks' bodies. Parts. "Now you'll see what happens when curiosity leads to an appetite," he continued, circling around them like a predator sizing up its prey. Panic flared in Sarah's chest. "What do you mean?" she demanded, her heart racing. The walls around them pulsed with energy, threatening to swallow them whole. It felt alive. In the sudden floods of light and shadow, an unholy truth loomed. It wasn't just about the food, it was a ritual. Something beyond their comprehension lurked beneath the surface, and they were being drawn into it with a sinister magnetism. "Choose wisely," the night chef taunted, backing away to a table set in the corner, covered with blood-stained cloths and gleaming utensils. "Join me, let the darkness amplify your fear, or turn back now and risk what's coming." But you only have a moment to decide. With a glance at her friends, the weight of choice pressed heavily upon Sarah. They could stand and confront the horror or try to escape it, but the diner's iron grip seemed to tighten around them. "Let us get out of here," Tony yelled, but the urge to uncover the truth was enticing, like a siren's song calling to them. Just as panic threatened to bubble over, the lights flickered wildly once more, and in a moment of complete chaos, Sarah felt something shift within herself, a surge of courage rising to the surface. But was it too late? As she grasped Tony and Karen's hands, a deafening roar echoed through the diner, the sound of something far more terrifying than anything they'd anticipated. It was only then that they realized what lay ahead was more than a confrontation, it was a fight for their very lives. In the heart of that diner, a choice lurked. Would they join the night chef's twisted truth, or would they escape to a destiny and horror beyond comprehension? As the door quivered ominously, it became painfully clear that time was running out, and danger was closing in. What would happen if they chose to stay a moment longer? The air crackled around them as the deafening roar receded, replaced by a bone-chilling silence. For a moment, everything felt suspended, as if the very diner was holding its breath. Shadows darted at the edges of Sarah's vision, twisting and writhing like something alive, and an icy shiver ran down her spine. Karen's grip tightened, her knuckles white. What was that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible in the thick tension. "I don't know," Tony said, his voice trembling. Fear had stolen his bravado. "But we need to get out of here." The night chef seemed to revel in their fear, his laughter a dark melody that echoed off the walls. "Ah, the taste of dread is delicious, isn't it? It's south what keeps this place thriving. Besides, you can't run from the truth forever." Sarah clenched her jaw. "What truth?" she demanded, the defiance edging into her voice. "What are you hiding?" His eyes sparkled with a predatory glint. "You are quite inquisitive, my dear." He stepped forward, the shadows clinging to him like cling film. "The truth isn't meant to be revealed casually. It requires a sacrifice, a devotion, an offering." He leaned closer, the scent of danger wrapped around him like a shroud. "Wouldn't you like to taste the truth?" The words hung thick in the air, even as the lights flickered overhead, casting an eerie glow. In those brief moments of illumination, Sarah caught a glimpse of a shape slumped behind the counter, a figure sprawled unnaturally, as if tossed aside after an unspeakable event. No way," she gasped, her heart racing. "You've killed someone." The night chef's grin widened, revealing those cruelly sharpened teeth. "Not just someone, darling. A friend, a foe, a tantalizing morsel. They became part of the menu, just as you might." Panic seized Sarah, and she turned to her friends. "We need to go now. This is not just about food, it's about survival." Suddenly, the sound of metal scraping against tile filled the kitchen, pulling their focus back to the night chef. He moved gracefully to the table, picking up a cleaver that gleamed ominously under the flickering lights. "Oh, but don't you see? This diner feeds off your fear, and fear doesn't simply vanish. It manifests, transforms, and if you choose wisely." He waved the cleaver, the air seeming to crackle with energy. "You might just turn that fear into your finest dish." Before they could process what he'd just said, the door behind them slammed shut with a force that shook the very foundation of the diner. An invisible barrier felt insurmountable. A primal terror gripped Sarah as she realized their only exit was now gone. "What have you done?" she shrieked, her voice breaking. "Fear not." The night chef's mocking tone filled the air, his laughter a chilling undercurrent. "You haven't yet tasted the beauty of despair. As I said, you have a choice to make. Will you fight to escape, or will you embrace a new dish in this exotic experience? The flickering lights cast long shadows, and Sarah felt them closing in, suffocating. We need to find a way to fight back, she whispered urgently to Tony and Karen. Fear can't be all we have left. There must be something we can do. But before they could strategize, a new sound reverberated through the kitchen, a low, gurgling growl that seemed to come from deep within the walls. It made their skin crawl, a reminder that whatever lurked behind those hidden doors was hungry, and waiting. Choose quickly, the night chef taunted, raising the cleaver with an unsettling joviality. Feast or be feasted upon, the time is running out. As the shadows lengthened and the growling intensified, Sarah's heart pounded. They were trapped in a web of darkness, the line between life and death thinner than the blade that glinted in the chef's hand. What other horrors lurked in the depths of the diner, whispering for a taste of their fear? Would they have the strength to confront the night chef, or would the truth become their final meal? A deep rumble vibrated through the diner, rattling the dishes on the counter. The growl echoed, a beast trapped within the walls, stirring with eerie impatience. Sarah's heart raced, primal instinct battling against her fight-or-flight response. We can't just stand here. Tony's voice rose above the chaos, panic seeping into every word. If that door is sealed, we need to find another way out. We need to move. His eyes darted toward the flickering lights, their erratic pulses mimicking the savage rhythm of his racing pulse. Do you hear that? Karen pressed her palms against her ears, shaking her head as if to block out the sound. What is that thing? The night chef laughed, a gruesome sound that sent chills down their spines. Oh, it's just the hunger. It clings to the air, begging for company. Isn't it marvelous? It's been so long since we've had fresh guests. Sarah forced her body into action, urgency overriding fear. Look for something, anything we can use. She scanned the kitchen, searching for a weapon, a tool, a way to gain an advantage against their tormentor. But as she moved, the shadows stretched and twisted, appearing to push back against her, yearning to ensnare her in their depths. Here! Tony yelled, pointing at a fire extinguisher mounted on the wall. He lunged for it, shoving the door open with a crash. The metallic clank rang out, filling the silence with hope. As he grabbed it, a sudden gust blew through the diner, causing the flickering lights to surge momentarily with brightness. In that blinding flash, Sarah caught sight of tattered remnants, bloodied aprons, smeared chef's hats, horrifying trophies of the night chef's previous offers. Dread pooled in her stomach, darker than the shadows wrapping around her. Use it! Karen shouted, urgency lining her voice as she edged closer to the monster, defiance igniting in her eyes. With a firm grip, Tony aimed the extinguisher at the night chef, who merely chuckled, unfazed by their desperate show of strength. You think you can tame the hunger with that? The chef taunted, his voice sliding like silk across their skin. You're missing the point. It's not me you should fear. Before he could finish, the walls trembled, and the growling intensified, morphing into something more primal, echoing their own terror back at them. The very ground shifted beneath their feet, a reminder that this wasn't just a fight for survival, but a contest against something much darker. Back! Sarah yelled, sidestepping as the night chef lunged forward, swinging the cleaver down with deadly precision. The blade sliced through the air, narrowly missing Tony's arm. The pain was immediate, a cry of anguish escaping his lips as he staggered backward. Not this time, my dear. The night chef leered, his eyes alight with sadistic joy. You can't escape the feast. The money isn't worth it, but the taste of your fear? His smile widened, a sinister crescent that seemed to draw shadows into him, feeding his strength. Karen's breath hitched, a desperate notion igniting in her mind. Wait! The back door. There has to be another escape route. She dashed toward the kitchen exit, determination driving her forward. Go! Sarah urged, her voice a mix of fear and exhilaration. We'll hold him off. The night chef's laughter echoed again, but now tinged with something darker: appreciation, maybe? Oh, this will be a delightful experience, indeed. Suddenly, the shadows thickened, swirling around them like a living entity, shifting and slithering as if testing their resolve. The growl erupted again, this time merging with the fading lights above, creating a cacophony of fear that clung to their skin. "Don't let it close in," Tony shouted, frantic but resolute. "Remember why we're here. We have to stick together." As the walls shifted and the temperature dropped, Sarah gritted her teeth, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. They were on the brink, caught between the horrors of the unknown and the fleeting hope of escape. In that moment of chaos, Sarah's intuition flared. It wasn't just about avoiding capture, they had to outsmart the night chef, expose the weakness hidden within his warped reality. But how could they take control when fear held the ante? As they regrouped and prepared to face the twisted reality waiting in the shadows, the air thickened with tension. What awaited them beyond the kitchen traps? The gnawing beast, the night chef's sinister delight, and their shared fate. Would they uncover the truth in time to escape, or would they become mere ingredients in the inevitable feast? With determination burning bright, they pressed forward into the darkness, desperate to defy their fear. But in the heart of that shadowy void, what awaited them? Revelation or ruin? The diner's air felt charged with the tension of 1,000 unspoken fears as Sarah, Tony, and Karen pushed deeper into the shadows. The night chef's laughter echoed hollowly, a warning that they had ventured into a realm where danger lurked in every corner, waiting for a moment of weakness. "Remember, you're not just running. You're confronting what lies beneath," Sarah gasped, her heart pounding like a frantic drum. The weight of the night chef's sinister offer hung in the air, threatening to ensnare them in a web of despair. Each flicker of the light overhead sent jolts of cold sweat racing down her spine. "There's gotta be a way to expose him," Tony whispered, his eyes darting around for any hint of weakness in their tormentor. "He feeds off our fear, but maybe we can turn that against him." Karen nodded, her determination reigniting. "We need more than just courage. We need wit. There has to be something here, a weapon or a distraction." She pointed toward a protruding cabinet behind the chef's looming figure. "The knives, we can use them." The night chef appeared to read their intentions, his keen eyes narrowing with predatory instinct. "You think you can fight me? Oh, but the taste of despair only grows richer." With courage steeled, Sarah lunged toward the cabinet, just as Tony stepped forward, raising the fire extinguisher. He aimed, chest heaving with adrenaline. "Stay back." Laughter bubbled from the night chef's lips, echoing through the chaos like an unwelcome song. "Your bravery is delectable, inevitably leading you to your doom." Time slowed as Sarah reached for the glint of blades, fingers curling around a chef's knife just as Tony released the extinguisher. White foam burst forth, spraying wildly, momentarily obscuring the grotesque figure that struck terror in their hearts. The night chef roared, cutting through the frosted mist, but it was already too late. "Now!" Sarah shouted, rallying her friends. The night chef stumbled back, his face contorted in shock. With speed fueled by pure instinct, Sarah dashed forward, knife raised, reflecting the flickering overhead lights. But he countered with terrifying speed, his cleaver slicing through the air like thunder. "You can't escape." His voice boomed, drowning out all hope. But the mist hung heavy in the air and pulsed like a living thing. "Distract him," Karen shouted, tossing a metal pot toward the counter where the lights glinted ominously. "Now!" While the night chef turned, irritated by the clatter, Sarah took the chance. She surged forward, knife poised, ready to strike at the heart of the horror that had haunted them since the moment they walked through those wretched doors. "Join the feast," he bellowed, lunging back at Sarah, but she sidestepped and spun quickly, narrowly avoiding his blade. Each movement felt surreal, a mix of precision and chaos. Adrenaline propelled her forward, and with a surge of determination, she plunged the knife deep into a slab of unidentifiable meat on the counter, an act of reckless defiance that sent a shudder down her spine. Fear never tasted so good, she taunted, looking deep into his sinister eyes, defiance radiating off her body. Let us see how you like it. In that moment of ricochet chaos, the diner trembled. Shadows danced furiously, the growling in the wall intensified, and the air crackled. The night chef roared in furious rage, eyes narrowing dangerously. You think that will stop me? This is my domain. But soft whispers breezed through the room. For every ounce of darkness, a light emerged, a glimmer of hope sprouted amid the chaos. Stick together. Tony yelled, eyes burning with determination. They huddled, the adrenaline weaving them tightly together. We fight or we become part of it. It's now or never. As the night chef lunged again, intent on reclaiming control, a burst of light illuminated the room, sending a shockwave of pure energy through them all. They could feel it, his power waned with the fear that fueled it. Take control. Karen shouted. Fueled by newfound resolve, she snatched a knife from the counter and advanced alongside Sarah and Tony. This is our moment. With synchronized precision, they faced the threat, stepping as one toward the looming figure of darkness, knives raised higher than the shadows that enveloped them. Get ready. Sarah commanded. In their hearts burned the truth, their unity fortified their spirits, and they wouldn't let fear dictate their fate, and then, with a collective shout, they surged forward. The night chef faltered, taken aback by their boldness. Lightning struck, raw and fierce, as if in response to their defiance. And crashing against him, they pushed past the edge of despair together. An explosion of strength surged through them, the echo of shared determination ripping through the air, forcing the night chef to stagger back. And thus, the barrier that held them captive shattered, their connected resolve channeling right through to the heart of the monster before them. Now! Karen yelled, and with a final, relentless push, hope pierced through the shadows, striking down the swirling darkness. The diner's walls trembled, groans emanating from the very foundation as the light enveloped them like a warm embrace, washing away the lingering dread. As silence settled, fading shadows swirled into nothingness. Breathless and shaken, they emerged from the dark kitchen, the grip of fear finally lifting. Glancing back, the deli's haunting tableau melted away, they had faced the darkness and come out alive. Tremors of relief washed over Sarah, her heart racing with the thrill of survival and the power of unity. She turned towards her friends, smiles breaking through the lingering fear. We did it! She exclaimed, laughter erupting like sunlight breaking through a storm, but as they made their way into the glow of dawn outside the diner, the shadows of their past adventures whispered faintly, reminding them that the night chef could still lurk in the corners of their memories. So, Tony said, clasping Karen's shoulder, are we going back to the Cracker Barrel? Not a chance, Sarah replied, a grin on her face. We are officially done with midnight cravings. With the rising sun warming their backs, they stepped into a new day, armed not only with survival but a lesson learned. Sometimes, facing your fears alongside your friends is the only recipe for freedom and transformation. As the daylight enveloped them, so did the promise of fresh beginnings, far away from the shadows they had conquered together. But just before they reached the road ahead, a beefy hand emerged from the shadows, a last warning from the night chef's domain. Their breath caught as a voice echoed from the darkness, taunting, you can run, but you can't hide, the craving never dies. And with that, they understood the battle was won, but the war against darkness would continue. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what lies ahead. Be part of the community. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and make sure you don't miss out on any of the upcoming tales that will take you right back into the heart of the chaos. And don't forget to instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support makes all the difference. Join us.